Jeff Skunk Baxter on his father and pride of working for the Defense Department in the U.S. government and being a patriot. He says it's not about politics. He just loves his country. We thought we'd save this one for the 4th of July. Okay, curious. By the way, you've always looked like a dude. You still look like a dude.
Well, thank you.
What would you tell this guy? Anything?
What would I tell him?
Well, knowing what you know now, would you tell that guy right there anything, knowing what you know now?
Wow, that's a big question, because besides my musical career, I have this day job as a consultant for the Defense Department. So what would I tell him?
He wouldn't have believed that. Would he have believed that would happen to him working for the government? Would he have believed it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
So you were always standing on both feet, man. You were.
Well, again, my dad brought me up as a patriot. I mean, this is not political. This is just, I love my country, especially growing up in a foreign country. You get an interesting perspective on the country of your birth. And my dad was 5 years regular Army, 20 years reserve. And he brought me up with a lot of knowledge in terms of history and the military. As a matter of fact, I think I was 5.5 years old. And one of the two great gifts that my mother gave me, besides when I asked for piano lessons at 5 to get me a teacher, was to teach me to read when I was very young. And so I remember I was about 5 or 6 and I was reading Huckleberry Finn with my mom. And my dad walks in and goes, "Oh, so you can read, huh?" And of course, I'm a little snot. So I go, yeah, I can read. So he walks in the library, brings out a copy of Winston Churchill's Gathering Storm, the first volume of his treatise on World War II, drops it in my lap and says, "Read that." So it took me a couple of years to get through it, but it left a huge impression on me. And the library that we had at the house was full of historical information. And once I started reading, naturally, I would look to the home library to find things to read. So much of what I was brought up on was history, military history, history in general. I even read parts of The Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire by Gibbons. I mean, those are the books. They're in there. You read them.
You know, someone once described you to me when I first got into radio, saying, as fantastic and as unbelievable as he is as a guitarist, he's smarter than that. But I remember going, wow. He says, the guy, another radio guy, described, he said, this guy's brilliant. He says, this guy he's a deep reader.
You're too kind. Brilliant, I don't know. But having had that gift from my mom early on, reading became not only a habit, but a joy. And it's something that I still, to this day, I read constantly. I don't read very much fiction because between what I do and so every day I'm reading reports and papers and analyses and stuff. But I find great joy in reading. I'm still an old school guy. I don't have a Kindle. I like books, and I like to make notes in the margin and underline, and then go back later on with something. Oh, you know what? That's right. I'm studying right now how China is dealing in the South China Sea in the first, second, and third island chain. But the Japanese during World War II, the Crow-Prosperity, the Great Far East Asian Crow-Prosperity Sphere. There was a book by a member of parliament that was written in 1934 that laid all that out, called The Coming War with Japan. So I went back and read that book, which I had underlined a long time ago, and I could see that I could look at the similarities, and this gave me more insight into the particular focus that I had on that particular area at that time. So yeah, I love books.
One thing I didn't ask you last time, and I'm kind of curious, is something I'm asking everybody. Have you kept stuff through the years? Like, I mean, I talked to Steve Lukather and he's got his wall full of I'm not talking gold album as much as just things from your past in music.
I kept a few T-shirts and I gave most of this stuff to my son.
Really?
to keep, because my son and my daughter, they're probably better at that than I am. And there's always little things that people give you and stuff. Yeah, there's a couple of boxes full of that stuff.
Remember, we'll have more of our new second interview, which was 90 minutes. One of the most interesting men I have ever spoken to, and not only rock and roll, but in my 40 years in radio, he's like he's like in the top 3. What an incredible mind. We'll have more from him in the next 2-3 days. Make sure you comment on our videos. We read all the comments, of course. Share our videos on social media. If you're part of a Doobie Brothers or Steely Dan group or a classic rock group, please share our videos on there or on your Facebook. Buy our t-shirts. It helps support the channel. All the money goes to advertising this channel. And of course, subscribe to our channel. We'd appreciate that. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music.